Hi there guys and welcome back to the channel. Been a while and I do apologise. I was hoping to do some more transfer videos like the Tosin announcement video that I did, where, when players get signed or are very close to signing, releasing a video on my thoughts on the player, a few stats, a few facts, how I think it will impact our game, how I think he would bed into the team, etc, etc. Like in the summer I did it whilst we got Cahill in and we got Tosin in the January window early on. I was hoping to do some videos like that, but obviously it's been such a dire window. Been really disappointed with how we've approached this transfer window, knowing the issues we have had since the summer, really, with the squad and the lack of depth in certain positions. And with the injury crisis we've had of late, obviously we've had players coming back in now, which is great. Obviously, as you can tell by the title, this is a preview to the Sheffield United game tomorrow. But with the injuries, even though they are coming back into the team, some of these players, we're still, lacking in certain areas. And for us to be so inactive in this window, it's so frustrating. I'm not quite sure why. I know it's difficult when it's looking like the owners aren't going to put money into the club, and it's hard for players like Parish and Friedman to start doing business when they've got a limited budget. But even little things, this time, just yesterday, it's obviously deadline day today, and I will be hopefully we'll be doing a live stream for you guys in the last couple of hours of deadline day, just to get my thoughts about any last minute deals, because with Palace you always got a chance of a last minute deal. Even if it's a loan deal, there's always a chance with Palace we do some last minute bits of business. So I will be doing a live stream, guys, so stay tuned after this video for that. It'll be in a few hours time. Make sure you share this video out and let people know. I will be covering, of course, whatever happens over the last few hours of deadline day. But typically we have, as of yesterday, we had Ferguson coming down for a medical. As of filming now, he's not signed, probably got an injury, which is great. He was a very promising young player as well, and hopefully he does sign, even though his medical hasn't gone too well by the sounds of things. You had Bowen, and it sounded like we put a bid in, and I was ecstatic about that because he's an unbelievable player, and he has potential to be an unbelievable player, very promising player at the moment, top scorer in the Championship. We later find out that West Ham are now hijacked the deal, and we actually didn't bid for it. 16 mil, was a loan with an option to buy. Like Hull are ever going to accept that sort of offer? Things like that. It shows we're on a limited budget, and it shows that with stuff like that's a bit desperate. I'm not going to lie. Where's the savvy sort of deals that Friedman was doing? And when I know it was a completely different time and money was different back then, and we were in the Championship. But the year we went up, getting Jedinak for the money we did, Balassi for 200,000. We made some absolute bargains, and those players turned out to be massive players for us. Where's that savvy sort of, working on a budget, those savvy sort of deals? I just think it's been very disappointing. But anyway, guys, more on that in the live stream that will be coming up later this evening, sorry, so stay tuned for that. Quick preview on the Sheffield United game. This is going to be so difficult, really. I know we've got players coming back, and that is brilliant. I think that, players like Schlupp coming back into the frame. You've got Townsend coming back into the frame as well. Tosin is still out with a knock, which is typical. That you bring a striker in when you're only signing of the January window on loan. Great start for his time at Palace with that goal against City, and he's now injured. Just what you want. As of this point of filming, Connor Wickham is still at the club, but he may be going out on loan to Sheffield Wednesday. So we're looking, but Benteke is back into the frame. So, we've got some players that are going to be missing, maybe going out on loan, but we have got players coming back from injury, which is massive. Sheffield United, on the other hand, they've obviously signed some fantastic players, broke their transfer record and all in this window, and they're looking just to keep strengthening and keep building. I think it's a really bad time to play them when their fans are going to be on the up with their transfer window, their transfer business this window. I think they're going to be very happy. And when you've got a team that's playing as well as they are, and you've got obviously everyone's buzzing around Sheffield right now, obviously, well, on the Blade side of Sheffield, not so much on the other side, Sheffield Wednesday, but, when you've got so many positives at a club like that, and you've got momentum, and you've got a play style which is so hard to play against, it's going to be so difficult. Their record away from home is one of the best in the league as well. You've got to bear that in mind. I think Manchester City was the only game they've lost away from home this season, which is unbelievable for a newly promoted team. Doesn't matter how strong you are, what tactics you're playing, to get promoted and in your first season in the Prem have that sort of statistic is unbelievable. So credit to them, and I rate Wilder so highly. I rate the way their playing style so highly. I think that we obviously got massively caught out by it. We were so poor against them really early in the season, second game of the season, I think it was, losing 1-0 out there. It probably could have been worse. We didn't look like scoring at all, and I was really worried about our season. We obviously went and beat United the next week, which was insane, but a very chalk and cheese sort of couple of weeks that. But yeah, we saw then the glimpses of what Sheffield United have done throughout the season, and that is bamboozle teams. I like to, in many ways, I compare them to Chelsea's title-winning side in we were under Antonio Conte just a few years ago. Now, before you obviously jump on me in the comments, I don't mean that they're of the same quality or that they're going to win the league anytime soon. But tactically, Conte, he switched things up after losing against Arsenal heavily to that three at the back system. Again, not the same system that Sheffield United are playing. They're playing such a unique style. But Conte changed up the system to a style we haven't seen in the Prem for ages. And a lot of teams for the rest of the season didn't really know how to play against it. It was struggled, and by the time they learnt the system and learnt how to get at Chelsea in many ways, Chelsea were already 2 ahead, or there was already, they were so used to the system that they were steamrolling teams, and people just didn't know how to play against Conte's three at the back, and it was so effective. And obviously the next season, people kind of sussed it out a bit, and Conte ended up leaving at the end of the next season. But they ended up going on to win the league, and it was an incredible run of games they went on in terms of wins and draws, and going undefeated for long parts of that season, because people didn't know how to play against it. And I see a lot of similarities in how Wilder's setting up, again, a system, a style of play that people just haven't seen before in the Premier League, overlapping centre-backs. It's something that you'd expect City or Liverpool to be doing, especially City, really. It's unbelievable that Wilder's, the system in the style he's got them playing, and like Conte's Chelsea side, I feel, in recent history anyway, people are struggling to be able to play against it or to figure out how to suss it, and that's why they've been so effective. You add to that the belief that players have in the manager, and vice versa, and obviously the effort and the work rate. One of the fittest teams in the league, obviously playing that system, it's going to be so tricky. And I would definitely take a. We haven't won. We have one win in about 9 games, I think it is, in the Premier League now, and it isn't great. But with these injuries coming back, maybe we can snatch a win out of this. But I think it's a big if, and it's a bit of a tall ask, and it feels weird saying that in some ways. Playing Sheffield United, we've been in the Premier League for so long now. You think that these sort of games, you've got to have confidence going into them, but I don't really have that much confidence. We're coming off the back of what's going to be a poor January transfer window. Even if we do make a signing going into at the end of deadline day, it's going to be a poor deadline day, in my opinion, from where we were this time yesterday. And they're coming off the back of some great signings. They've made multiple signings in this window, Sheffield United, including breaking their transfer record. The young guy from Genk, I forget his name, I apologise, but he's obviously very highly rated. He's a great young player, one that top teams in Europe have been looking at. And Sheffield United, because of their incredible season, have got to him first. So for me, I think that is just going to be Roy Hodgson. He's going to set up against them, and I'm going to sound like a broken record every week, but it's the only way we really are going to get at teams like this who have a new style of play and are very difficult to break down. You've got to be resilient, you've got to be disciplined, but you've got to be so effective on the break. And I think if they are going to use their centre-backs going forward, the times where they have been caught out has been on the break and slight errors at the back. That being said, of course, their defensive record is so great. So if you can't get at them quickly and look to hit those channels and exploit the centre-backs pushing forward, then it's going to be so tricky, because they'll just get back into shape, and then all of a sudden, we know as Palace fans how hard it is. We find it hard to break teams down. We really struggle. So it's all about how quick we can counter-attack, and I think it's going to be so interesting to see how it pans out. At this point now, it sounds bad, but I would take a draw. I know we've had so many draws, and we need a win. We need a win, and we go level on points with Sheffield United, which is unbelievable when you look at how we've probably had a very mixed season, and Sheffield United have had such a good season, really. The fact we could be a level on points with them shows how the league has been in general this season. But, I'm fingers crossed. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. I don't think it's going to be a massive goal fest. I said that about Southampton, but look what happened there. But honestly, I think the week break probably helped us. Sheffield United did play against Millwall in the FA Cup last weekend, so perhaps there's a bit of, there's maybe will be a bit sharper, fitter. I wouldn't say that we'll be fitter than Sheffield United. I think that Chris Wilder will still have them as a fitter side than us right now. But you've got to think maybe a week break could help us. It remains to be seen. But I'm excited to see what happens. Back and watching football again. It's been a long time out, and hopefully it's not too toxic. Sellers Park tomorrow. I really hope it isn't. But we've got to make some signings. So of course, guys, Like, share, subscribe. Put in the comments your thoughts down below. Sheffield United, rate them so highly this season. Love what they're doing. So Sheffield United fans, obviously comment below your thoughts on the game as well if you're watching. And yeah, stay tuned on the channel for later this evening. I will be live streaming. I'm not sure around what time, maybe 8 o'clock, something like that, just past 8 o'clock, and doing the last few hours into the end of the transfer window, and assessing what we've done in the transfer window, you know, reviewing the transfer window as well. So let me know your thoughts, guys. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you next time.